Black Hebrew Israelites should follow Judaism. Man, I know y'all thinking this is clickbait. They think it's clickbait aside.
Man, sound crazy.
That
Make sure
sounds
y'all get in
crazy.
here though. Y'all should already know. Anytime we come with a title like this, that's real provocative. Some deep, powerful information is getting ready to come out. So, what y'all need to do right now, because God is watching, is like and share the video. That's what y'all need to do.
Like the video, thumb up the video.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all. Black Hebrew Israelites should follow Judaism. We're gonna get into it today through the Spirit and power of the Most High. Let's start this off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to our Heavenly Father Yahweh, and we do so by Shema Mashiach Yahweh Shai. What y'all know about this? I see a lot of y'all drinking that Mountain Valley. A lot of y'all drinking that Mountain Valley glass water. I'm up in the skull on y'all. Don't worry about Assad's reverse osmosis water. This Cascade Mountain, they need to pay me for it. I'm still on that Mountain Valley too, though, but I'm leveling up on this Cascade. What's going on, everybody? Y'all, all praise to the Most High. Hit the like button, share it. We here for the optimal edification. What's going on, Hassan? You got that big G drip on?
Yeah, you already know what it is. I don't warn this a couple times, but it's just I feel like this is when Clark Kent go into the phone booth and he becomes Superman. When I put this on, I become Superman. All praises to the Most High.
That's how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I gotta go get mines. I gotta go put my fringes on mine. I'm putting fringes. Hey, Ariel, I'm putting fringes and zeets on, brother. So yeah, what's going on, everybody? Any questions before we get started? Any questions before we get started? Any questions before we get started? Let's see. What's going on with everybody? Yeah, y'all, it's been a hell of a week, man. Running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 publication pages. 7 publication pages. Ariel, I didn't watch it yet. I'm familiar with why you believe that, but I haven't watched it yet. I need the microwave version. I need the the compact power version
The
of the
YouTube short.
breakdown. Yeah, the YouTube short. I need the YouTube short of the breakdown. Um, but yeah, y'all, I'm running 7 publication pages right now. Deacon Tunes, Bigot Pigs, Priest Genesis Mode, PTE Godcast, Genesis Seattle, BTR Network, Patreon, women, children, couple hundred camp members. But no complaints, and it feels good to make it happen. All praise to the Most High. The commandments are not grievous, and the Lord's work is not grievous. So yeah, it's definitely a blessing to be able to focus on the ministry and really provide these breakdowns, this edification for the body, so that if we have to be in this hell, in this prison camp known as Babylon, you guys have all the information. You guys have the pure doctrine from upon high. And this is also why I'm about to probably hire someone to create create the Bible. We're gonna do the whole Bible commentary. Genesis is gonna do the whole Bible commentary. Now I know that I do not, and I am not going to write out our commentary on the whole Bible. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to give a breakdown on everything in the whole Bible, video format, and then hire somebody to listen to the video or take the transcript and put it in book format like that, so that the community can have it. All praise to the Most High. But what's going on with you, Asad? We're about to get into this powerful lesson, man. Tell us something. What's new? What you got going? Mazuz on deck.
Yeah.
New moon is tomorrow for the lunar Sabbath keepers. New moon is tomorrow. So we're going to be celebrating new moon tomorrow night.
I gotta
sundown.
do
That means the Sabbath is instituted for this moon cycle. Do that again.
Hold on, yeah, but no, listen, y'all. If y'all need a mezuzah, make sure y'all tap in with me on social media. At Brother Hassad on all platforms. Deuteronomy 6 says we gotta, put the commandments, write the commandments on the posts of our doors. So all praise to the Most High. For y'all that observe the Friday night to Saturday night Sabbath, depending on where you are, you should be all right now. But wait till y'all Shabbat is over, of course. But yeah, man, it's let's just get into the lesson because I know that's why y'all here. Y'all don't want to hear me rant. Probably have half of y'all like to hell with your mezuzahs, nigga. Teach us something. So,
I didn't even know that movie Sinners was coming out at all until I heard everybody talking about it, and I still haven't watched it. Maybe I'll take a look at it. I got a flight to California coming up here. Maybe I'll watch it on the flight from some bootleg website. All right, so without further ado, y'all, again, we give all praises, honor, and glory to our Heavenly Father, Yahweh. We do so by Shema Mashiach Yahweh Shai, and we are about to get into the information, my brothers and sisters. If you want to join the Genesis Israelites, hit me up, deacon at genesis144.com. That's a real email, huh? Ain't no Gmail, ain't no Outlook, ain't no Yahoo, ain't no Hotmail. This is a real email. Deacon at genesis144.com. You want to get on that varsity, hit me up at deacon at genesis144.com. All right. So without further ado, y'all, let's shock the community inside. Should the Israelites follow Judaism?
yeah, we got to grow our side locks and wear yarmulkes.
Put on all black, huh?
Mm-hmm.
The UPK ain't the only ones in all black.
Right.
All right, y'all. I'm done. I'm done with the time. I'm done with the horsing around. Okay, so what the heck? Oh, there we go. All right, let me take a look and see how it's looking on the YouTube scene. Let's take a look.
Make sure I like and share the video too. That helps a lot with boosting the video on the algorithm. So all you got to do takes 2 seconds to just literally hit like. It don't cost nothing. It's free 99. And if you don't,
we know where your destiny is going, and when you die, if you don't hit the like button, we know where your spirit is going when you die. To torment. I'm playing, man. All right, so how does that look? It's looking good on my end. All right.
Yeah, I can go ahead and start if you like.
Okay, go ahead, brother.
So what we're going to be discussing tonight is modern Judaism versus ancient Judaism.
Right. A lot of Israelites, most of the Israelite community don't even know Judaism, or to be Judaized, is from the ancient world. This isn't a 20th century modern religion, but it has been hijacked, just like the word Christian has been hijacked, just like our identity has been hijacked. Now, Hassad, on some of these things that you're getting ready to read, some of these sources, you're gonna have to be very careful about how you say it.
I got you. I got you.
Okay, so let's go.
So Judaism, the Hebrew Yehudit, is an Abrahamic monotheistic and ethnic religion comprising the collective religious culture, collective religious, cultural, and legal tradition and civilization of the. Can I say that word?
Yeah.
Okay, of the Jewish people. It has its roots as an organized religion in the Middle East during the Bronze Age. Modern Judaism evolved from Yahwism, the religion of ancient Israel and Judah, by the late 6th century BCE, and is thus considered to be one of the oldest monotheistic religions. Judaism is considered by religious Jews to be the expression of the covenant that God established with the Israelites. The expression of the, keep that in mind, the expression of the covenant that God established with the Israelites, their ancestors. It encompasses a wide body of texts, practices, theological positions, and forms of organization.
Now, they said the Bronze Age, which is now this is just a source explaining what, and now they're doing a lot of mixing. So you got to chew the meat, spit out the bones, pause. But they're doing a lot of mixing. So they're giving you some truth while they're diffusing it with the modern understanding of Judaism. So you have to understand. Keep your eyes, everybody, on the Hebrew word that for Judaism, Yahudah or Yahudat. However you say it, they got the what's it called again? The um their dash and vowel points that they're putting in from the modern Hebrew. All right. So just keep your eye on this word. Now, once we continue on in these sources and even in the Bible, you're going to see this word again, where it's translated into the English as Judaism. They're calling it a religion. Is it a religion? Was it a religion? Because remember, we're contrasting how ancient Judaism and modern Judaism. We created ancient Judaism. Modern Judaism is held and ran and upheld by who we would call the small hats. So, they have made it a religion, just how they have made Christianity a religion when Christians were just Israelites who were following the Messiah. Now, what is the proper terminology for our codified laws and moral compass? What is the proper terminology for our codified laws and moral compass? I'm going to go up here. Ethno-religious. An ethno-religious group or an ethno-religious group is a grouping of people who are unified by a common religious and ethnic background. Mm-hmm. You understand that? So if we're speaking technically, then we would be ethno-religious. Let's keep going.
It says the Torah, as it is commonly understood by Jews, is part of the larger text known as the Tanakh. The Tanakh is also known to secular scholars of religion as the Hebrew Bible, and to Christians as the Old Testament. The Torah's supplemental oral tradition is represented by later texts such as the Midrash and the Talmud. The Hebrew word Torah can mean teaching or law or instruction. Although Torah can be used as a general term that refers to any Jewish text that expands or elaborates on the original 5 books of Moses, representing the core of the Jewish spiritual and religious tradition. The Torah is a term and a set of teachings that are explicitly self-positioned as encompassing at least 70 and potentially infinite facets and interpretations. Judaism's texts, traditions, and values strongly influenced later Abrahamic religions, including Christianity and Islam. Hebraism, like Hellenism, played a seminal role in the formation of Western civilization through its impact as a core background element of early Christianity. Mm-hmm. That being, of course, because Christians, where do Christians get their belief from? Well, they say it, they don't actually follow it for real, but from the so-called Old Testament, as well as Muslims. Judaism was once based off Torah and a concept we established. Then it was turned into a religion that contradicts Torah. That's why I think it said earlier, it said that it could potentially represent an infinite number of different interpretations and things of that nature. Priest, that's why it was referring to. Mm-hmm. Because that's what the Midrash in the Talmud
is. Exactly.
Yeah, commentaries.
Right.
But that's not the word of God. That's not the instructions, Torah of the Most High. That specifically, I'm going to be very, very careful. That is referring to, again, the Midrash and the Talmud.
The Gemara. Yeah. So the Talmud is the Gemara. So they'll give you multiple interpretations on one law, but it's not founded in the Torah to even do it like that. Mm-hmm. So what do we mean when we say Judaism, or to be Judaized, was once based off of the Torah and has been hijacked now to a religion that contradicts the Torah? Let's keep going. Go ahead.
What does the word Judaism mean, and what is its origin? The term Judaism derives from we dismiss, a Latinized form of the ancient Greek uidasismos, from the verb, can read the Greek, quote, to side with or imitate the Judeans. Its ultimate source was, so that's what the origin of Judaism is, to imitate what the Judeans are doing, basically to follow whatever the Jews do. Well, now you have to ask yourself, well, what do the Jews do? What did the Heavenly Father give to the Jews? What distinctly separates them from the rest of all the other groups of people? It says its ultimate source was the Hebrew Yehuda or Yehuda, Judah, which is also the source of the Hebrew term for Judaism, Yehudit.
Right, which how we would say it in the Paleo Hebrew. Good thing we got Ariala in the chat. But Ariala says it said Yahweh doth. So I want you guys, how we would say it in the Paleo Hebrew, Yahweh doth, and how they're saying it is Yahadat. Now I want you guys to focus on that word because it is in the Torah. And then translated into the English is Judaism. You can't get around this. Keep going.
The term, what is that? Judaismos first appears in the Hellenistic Greek book of Second Maccabees in the 2nd century BCE. In the context of the age and period, it meant seeking or forming part of a cultural entity, and it resembled its antonym Hellenismos, a word that signified a people's submission to Hellenic Greek cultural norms. So basically, this word, when it says that it resembled its antonym Hellenismos. Remember, when you, for example, you have in the New Testament, Hellenistes would be Greek-speaking Jews. They're Jews who've been the Hellenized, right? But the opposite, that's what antonym means. Like a synonym is a word that means the same. Like a synonym for sad is down. An antonym for sad is happy. So whatever the opposite of being basically Greekized or Hellenized is what Judaized means.
Right. So that means they're following our laws, statutes, commandments, customs, culture, the legislation, everything tied to our land.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how well, it predates. So I want to get this clear to everybody. We didn't just create this word in this lifestyle due to us being Hellenized. We were Judaizing people and Judaizing Israelites who lost their identity as far back as Esther. So it didn't just start here with the Maccabean revolt. I want to put that out there so y'all are not lost in the sauce. You done with this?
I'm gonna keep going. It says, and resembled. Okay, the conflict between Judaismos and Hellenismos lay behind the Maccabean revolt, and hence the invention of the term Judaismos.
Or I. This is with
Or
I.
there's no J as
Iodesmos.
Iodesmos. There's no J. Yeah.
All right. So let's keep going. So just in case, just so y'all are walking with us. How do you say Judaism in the ancient Hebrew? Yahadwath. They're going to say Yahadat. And how do you say it in the Greek? Iodesmos. All right. It's an ancient concept. You can see. Let's keep going.
Galatians 1:13. For you have heard of my conversation in time past in the Jews' religion, Strong's G 2454, how that beyond measure I persecuted the church of God and wasted it, and profited in the Jews' religion, same Greek word, above many my equals in my own nation, being more exceedingly zealous of the traditions of my fathers.
So what is this word? Iodesmos, which is how you say it in the ancient Hebrew, the ancient tongue, Yahadwath. Says the Jewish faith and worship, religion of the Jews, Judaism. So it just literally means following the law, statutes, and commandments. Let's keep going.
Galatians 2:14. But when I saw that they walked not uprightly according to the truth of the gospel, I said unto Peter before them all, if you, being a Jew, live after the manner of Gentiles, and do not as do the Jews, why compellest thou the Gentiles to live as do the Jews?
So he's saying that why? Now, Christians may say these Gentiles are non-Israelites, And we would say that these are Israelite foreigners or Israelites living in foreign lands. Either way, they still have to. Peter is telling them to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, and the word for Judaism, iodaismos, is being used here. You see it in the biblical usage, in the actual definition. Let's keep going.
2 Maccabees 2:21. And the manifest signs that came from heaven unto those that behave themselves manfully to their honor for Judaism, so that being but a few, they overcame the whole country and chased barbarous multitudes.
Right, break it down.
It reminds me, there's another verse in Maccabees, as a matter of fact. Let me see if I can find it. If I can't find it in 3 seconds. Look at this. Where is it at? In Maccabees. Such when they said they're ready to die for the law of the Most High, something like that. Damn.
Yeah, I think so. Let me see.
That's 2 Maccabees what? 2:21? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me find this. Okay, this will work. So first Maccabees, I'm gonna start this. First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 64. It says, "Wherefore, ye my sons, be valiant and show yourselves men in the behalf of the law, for by it shall you obtain glory." All throughout, for example, like even going to verse 67, "Take also unto you all those that observe the law, and avenge ye the wrong of your people. Recompense fully the heathen, and take heed to the commandments of the law." So contextually within the book of Maccabees, when it talks about behaving yourselves manfully to their honor for Judaism, what is he referring to? He's referring to the law.
Let me watch this. So yeah, it's right here too. You can read this. You see it?
Yep. 2 Maccabees 8:1. Then Judas and they that were with him went privily into the towns and called their kinsfolks together and took unto them all such as continued in the Jews' religion. What is our religion? Our religion is the commandments, the Torah.
Right. And that Greek word there is going to be iodaismos, which goes back to the Hebrew Yahadwath. Go ahead. Oh, that was it. Now there's one more too. 2 Maccabees 14 as well. 14 and 38, I think. Let's see.
Yep.
It is? Okay.
14 and 38 says, "For in the former times, when they mingled not themselves with the Gentiles, he had been accused of Judaism, and did boldly jeopard his body and life with all vehemency for the religion of the Jews." So notice what is used interchangeably right here. What is synonymous with each other? Judaism and the religion of the Jews.
That's a dagger.
Yeah, and Ariella brought out a good point. The word religion means to be bound. We are bound to keeping the law.
Okay, so let's keep going. Now, here's where you see the shorter version of how you say Judaism in the ancient Hebrew. You see, we were saying Yahadwath. Now it's just Yahad. Remember, Christians come here all the time to try to say Gentiles can transform into another ethnicity. But these are two different words here. One became Jews, became Yahad. For fear of the Jews, Yahawah. You understand that? So you guys need to know that. Read that. Go ahead. Break it down, brother.
Esther 8:17. "And in every province and in every city, whithersoever the king's commandment and his decree came, the Jews had joy and gladness." This is where Purim comes from. It says, "A feast and a good day, and many of the people of the land became Jews, for the fear of the Jews fell upon them." So look at this. So people try to even go here in an attempt to say that there's always been a spiritual Israel, or, it doesn't matter what your ethnic background is. But look at the biblical usage right here. It says to become a Jew in fact or in frauds, or here we go, become Judaized. What does it mean to become Judah? You're following the laws of the Jews. You yourself are not literally becoming a Jew, but you're conforming to the ways of the Jews. Just for example, in the earlier source, we read that it's essentially the exact same thing. It's the antonym for becoming Hellenized. The Greeks are a distinct ethnic group of people, but people can become Hellenized. A Jew can become Hellenized. Do they become an ethnic Greek? No, they're adopting and following the ways of the Greeks. Put a one in the chat if that makes sense. So they aren't becoming that particular race of people, but they're following the ways of those people. They say when you have Paul Wall, for example. Is Paul Wall a black man, everybody? When people's feelings get hurt, when they figure out what I'm worth, is that a black man? No. But his vernacular, he got gold in his mouth. The way that he talks, some of his mannerisms are that of a so-called black person. But it doesn't make him a black person. He's following some of our traditions and our ways. Right? We could keep going. Yeah, like Ariel said, he got Houstonized.
Euthanized or Houstonized. Okay, so how is modern Judaism in its literature not based off Torah? How does it contradict Torah? Now we get into how and when, and I was supposed to kind of talk about. So we first started really. Well, we've been Judaizing, strangers and foreigners who lived amongst us. And then we see the major influx, though, in Esther chapter 8. Then we see the major influx in the second Maccabees when we conquered all the surrounding nations. They got Judaized. Then we see the Herodians. Then we see the Kalanimus family, which is where you get the Ashkenazim from, right? Now, notice when we talk about stuff like this, Hassan, it's been so long since I could probably go back 10 years ago since I've had under 200 live viewers. But the fact that this is the title and this is coming out, we know what time it is. Either way, though, you guys are going to be equipped to have this understanding, so you'll be able to talk to the small hats and those Christians who believe the small hats are the people. You'll be able to have this understanding and break it down. So let's go to how Judaism was hijacked and became this modern religion that contradicts Torah, right? Go ahead.
Modern Judaism.
Oh, shoot.
You guys see what's on the screen. So what happens, it's called I think if I say it in Hebrew, it'll work. A Brit Milah, right?
Yeah, Brit Milah is just the suction, but the Mezitza Pepet, Mezitza Pepet is the
when you cut off, the God made a covenant with Abraham, and it involves cutting. You got to cut into it, right? Or as what is his name? The dude in Toronto, cut. When you cut off part of a phallic, but we have a group of people on the earth who nowadays they use their mouths to do so.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. So Mezitza Bepeh, which literally means, can I say that? Or we'll say organ suction. or organ suction is first mentioned in the Babylonian Talmud in Tractate Shabbos, which dates back to the 4th century. This is the 4th century Common Era, everybody. So this is not the 4th century BC. This is the 4th century Common Era.
Right. What does that mean? We were gone already, so yes. we didn't make this up.
Yeah. And it's I got to be very careful. We didn't talk like this, okay? There's no mention of this when it's indisputable where the Israelites actually are. All of a sudden, some people, we're not going to say what religion the doctor was. Remember when Ye said that what religion the doctor was? But when they got a hold of our stuff, now they're this is what they're talking about. So it says, which dates back to the 4th century, about 1600 years ago.
Right. So excuse me. I stand corrected. I got to qualify and quantify something. The modern religion, Judaism, is not based off of Torah, and it was hijacked, but it wasn't hijacked in the 20th century. It was hijacked when we got kicked out of the land after the Bar Kokhba revolt, when Rome had signed an executive order for the permanent expulsion of true Israelites to go back to the land. Then only the converts could go back to the land. The Judaized converts could be there. And so that's when they created this Talmud from 250 AD to about 500 AD. And this is where you get this stuff from. So it is from antiquity. It was hijacked in antiquity, and it contradicts Torah, but it still holds the same today. All right, so let's keep going.
And I want to just, because you made a great point earlier. I know there's a lot of information to go into, but Priest just made mention of the how did my brain is so fried right now. The Herodian dynasty. Now, interestingly enough, what did John the Baptist rebuke Herod for? He rebuked Herod for practicing fornication. Yet Herod was the leader of us at one point. You know, he wasn't supposed to be, but he was. And so soon after these people come and hijack our stuff and put themselves in positions of power, now we start to see the Torah. That's like the infant stages. But then you see later and later, as our people get kicked out more and more, they start to pervert what our ancestors had valued. But okay, it says there, Rev Papa says that any mohel who doesn't do mezitza b'pa is risking a baby's life, arguing it somehow prevents infections. Now,
The mohel is the one who puts the lips down there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But let's they get the picture. Yeah. Where is it found at? It's because remember, Rabbi Eduardo tried to challenge me and say that where is it at the Mezitza Bapet in the Mishnah? It's everywhere in there, and it's in other highest literature that they have. But one is Mishnah Shabbat 19, verse 2.
When the 8th day of a baby's life occurs on Shabbat, he must be circumcised on that day. Therefore, one performs all the necessities of the circumcision, even on Shabbat. One circumcises the foreskin and uncovers the skin by removing the thin membrane beneath the foreskin. And, am I allowed to say this part?
Yeah, just don't say the
S word.
No, the person that's getting it done to them.
Okay. And sucks the blood from the wound and places on it both a bandage and cumin as a salve.
Right. So
he's flaking it.
Wow. That's all we need to say on that one.
It's spicy.
Lord in Christ.
So yeah. Anyway, Shohan Aruk Yorei Dea 26510. Safe 10. The Orla foreskin must be placed buried in sand or dirt. Ramah. So to the blood from the mezitza should be spit into dirt.
Right. So they'll suck it out and they'll
yeah, that's wild. They'll hack to it basically.
This is not us.
Yeah,
this is not us.
There's no way.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
It's
read this.
Leviticus 17:10. And whatsoever man there be of the house of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn among you, that eateth any manner of blood, I will even set my face against that soul that hath eaten blood, and shall cut him off from among his people. You're not allowed to do that.
Right. You guys are literally eating blood. Like, so what we're doing is pointing out, everybody, how ancient Judaism, we were Judaizing the heathens, and then they hijacked it in about the 3rd or 4th century AD when we got kicked out, and then they started prescribing laws and codifications that contradict Torah. That's what we're isolating here.
Yeah.
The Torah don't tell you to do all that. Go ahead.
Exodus 4:25. Then Zipporah took a sharp stone. What did she do? She took a sharp stone. Did she say she used her mouth? No. It says
hold on, real quick. Yosef Yehuda. I never said the Ashkenazim were the main factors in compiling the Talmud. I didn't say that. Go ahead.
It says, and cut off the foreskin of her son and cast it at his feet and said, surely a bloody husband art thou unto me. In the NLT, it says, but Moses' wife, Zipporah, took a flint knife and circumcised her son. She touched his feet with the foreskin and said, now you are a bridegroom of blood to me. Notice, Zipporah is not performing this ritual, the Mezitza Bapa. She's no normal, because this is what is she, a Cushite deacon, I believe? Zipporah is
Midianite.
Midianite. This is a person of color, likely, and only a non-person of color would. You guys get where I'm going. All right. Joshua 5:2. At that time, the Lord said unto Joshua, "Make these sharp knives. No, use your teeth. Use your
Right. Exactly. He didn't say make you sharp teeth.
right. Yeah, use your fangs. Use your canines. No. At that time, the Lord said unto Joshua, "Make sharp knives and circumcise again the children of Israel the second time."
Mm-mm-mm.
So, what were they using to circumcise? Not their mouths, knives. Modern Judaism says you're the seed of your mother. Ibn Hazer, 4410. Can I say the J word?
Yeah.
If a Jewish apostate betrothed a Jewish woman, his betrothal is completely valid. And she requires a right of divorce. Even if he had children after he left Judaism, if one of those children were to betroth a Jewess woman, the betrothal is valid. This is only true if he had children with a Jewess, even if she is an apostate. If, however, he had children with a non-Jewess, the children are considered non-Jews, even if the father is a Jew who is not an apostate. That is literally the opposite of what the Bible says.
Right.
The Torah says you're the seed of your father, Numbers 1:18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers. Cut. Ezra 2:59. And these were they which went up from Telamah, Telharsa, Karab, Adon, and Emer. But they could not show their father's house and their seed, whether they were of Israel. Leviticus 24:10. And the son of an Israelitish woman, whose father was an Egyptian, went out among the children of Israel. So if what they're saying is true, why in Torah in Leviticus 24:10 does it distinguish and juxtapose the son of a man whose dad is Egyptian and mother is an Israelite from the rest of the children of Israel? And then it says, and this son of the Israelitish woman and a man of Israel. Why is he being distinguished from a man of Israel if he himself is a man of Israel? Because he's not a man of Israel. He is a African. He's an Egyptian.
He's a Hamite.
Right. Modern Judaism, 9 candlestick menorah. Judaism says 9. I was just I would make a joke about it. Anyway. Exodus 25:31. And thou shalt make a candlestick of pure gold. Of beaten work shall the candlesticks be made. His shaft and his branches, his bowls, his knops, and his flowers, his is referring to the candlestick, shall be of the same. And 6 branches shall come out of the sides of it. 3 branches of the candlestick out of the one side. So you have 3 on one side, and 3 branches of the candlestick out of the other side. So you have 1 in the middle, and then 3 on each side.
Right. That's it on that.
Yeah.
To get the picture.
In modern Judaism, black skin. Do we have that audio?
Yeah.
Hold on. Were you going to play that without me even saying this?
Yeah.
We're locked in. We're locked in. Hi, vocab. So in modern Judaism and in modern Christianity, I want to add that too. In modern Judaism / Christianity, because it's all, you can all lump it up together. It's all madness. Black skin is a blemish. And we're going to let I won't even know what I call him.
You can call him a rabbinic scholar, a Talmudic scholar. How about that?
Yeah. We have our good friend Vocab. He is going to let us know what he thinks of black skin.
Talk about people being dirty.
Right. So this is from
Baccarat.
Mm-hmm. You heard of Baccarat. This is Baccarat 7 and 5. It says, if his upper lip protrudes beyond the lower lip, or his lower lip protrudes beyond the upper lip, that's a blemish. And one whose teeth fell out is disqualified due to the appearance of a blemish. The Mishnah lists additional blemishes that disqualify a priest from performing the temple service. So if all your teeth fall out, you can't be a priest. If you got some messed up lips, you can't be a priest. There's some more stuff that disqualify you from being a priest. Okay, let's read it.
Now look at go to down here.
Can I just read on down just a little bit?
Go ahead.
Let's just show what they associate with being black. So look what it says. One whose breasts are so large. It's a man. One whose breasts are so large that they sag like those of a woman. So if you got the T word, you can't be a priest.
Man boobs, man
Right.
boobs.
If you got man boobs, you can't be a priest. Let me keep going. It says, or if one is epileptic, even if he experiences seizures only once in a while. So if you're just having seizures, you can't be a priest. If you have man boobs, can't be a priest. One whose scrotum is wow, that's pause. Let's see. One whose wow, they are haters. It's that, yeah.
No,
It
listen,
says,
we gotta just say it. So if you got balls that hang low,
yeah,
you can't be a priest. You know how we say let your nuts drag the ground? You
yeah,
can't be a priest in Judaism.
yeah.
If you have a long, if you have a big package, I'm going to say that. If you have a big package, you're disqualified from performing the temple service. It says it verbatim.
Yeah, like Snoop said, she want the with the bigger. He is I and I is him. Slim with the tilted. You can't. Snoop Dogg apparently can't be a priest.
Yeah, but this is showing you that we didn't write this. Right. I didn't write.
All right. So what this is doing, though, just to go to this point, this is showing that we're not, what Black or Hispanic person is going to say, if you have a, if you're well equipped downstairs, if you're comfortable, then you can't be a priest of God. It says, let's see, let's keep going. Okay, let's go all the way to the end. It says, Rabbi Hanina ben Antigonus says, Moroa Ashka does not refer to the testicles. Rather, the reference is to anyone whose appearance, Marav, is especially dark. So if you got, if you have man boobs, can't be a priest. If you have a long thingamajigger, can't be a priest. Or if you're Black.
And it says one whose belly is swollen, so pot belly. If your navel protrudes, if you have seizures, and if you're Black, then you can't be a priest because they consider it a blemish. How do we know that this is the correct interpretation? Ha ha! I thought you guys would never ask. So he's going over the whole Mishnah here.
Salak, this is probably doesn't need to be said, but basically what that tells you, everybody, if there's how do I say this? If you see anyone that's a priest of their order, they're lacking somewhere.
They're lacking. They got an Asian package. Okay, so this rabbi is gonna break it all down. Oh, you know what? There we go. Boom. All right. So yeah, he's gonna break it all down for you guys, and you'll see that we have the proper interpretation on what Bechorah 7 and 5 is saying. Watch this.
Inflated, because he says ruach, there's some wind in there. They're inflated in some way. His appearance is dark. It's black. I guess they felt at that time in their day that a person with a very dark complexion was not beautiful.
I'll play that again.
Not beautiful.
This is how you know we didn't write this. He said that they thought a person dark complected wasn't beautiful as a blemish.
Inflated, because he says ruach, there's some wind in there. They're inflated in some way. His appearance is dark. It's black. I guess they felt at that time in their day that a person with a very dark complexion was not beautiful. I would hope nowadays.
He would hope nowadays that they don't think like that now.
And we know it's just so ironic when you look at Phineas, who is an actual Kohanim.
I got that on here.
We're dialed. I'm telling you, we're locked in.
This is another one. Go ahead.
Baccarat 7 and 6 concerning the Cushi, Black, the Gihor, the Lavkan, the Kippa, the dwarf. So if you're Black, you're on the same level as a dwarf, a deaf mute, the deaf mute. Do you ever seen I'm not trying to make fun of people who are deaf mute, but they're incoherent. They can't talk. They don't know what talking is. The deaf mute, the imbecile. You know what it means to be an imbecile? the people who really like grilled cheese sandwiches and trains. That's what it means. The drunk. So someone who's an alcoholic, you're on the same level as a black. Someone who's deaf and can't talk or hear, you're on the same level as a black person in this religion. This is modern day. I'm not going to say, after saying all that, I'm not going to say this is modern day. You know what? It says, and those with ritually pure marks, their conditions disqualify a person from performing the temple service.
Damn. So look, so Kushi means Negro. And they said that's a condition. Their condition disqualify them. Okay, let's hear him break it down again.
We're continuing to discuss Mumin of a Kohen, the blemishes of a Kohen. Judah says, as long as it's not unusual, I guess, as long as it's not, it's standardized and it's okay. Chachamim say no. Even if they were on all four extremities, on all four hands and feet, Chachamim say it's still not good. Let's hear ambidextrous. Rabbi poser, Chachamim machshimin. Rabbi says it's no good. Chachamim machshimin. Rabbi says what it means is if you're ambidextrous, that means your right hand is weaker. But we pass like Chachamim, and nowadays we know Chachamim are correct that you have a strong. That means you just have two strong hands. Akushi, someone who is a kushi, someone who is a Negro, someone who is black. Gichor. Gichor is someone who has red skin. The halavtan.
That's an albino. So he's saying Kushi means Negro and yeah, that's disqualified from being a priest.
It's a condition. I hope I put it on the chat if you understand. They're saying you have a condition. If you have black skin, you have a condition. Like if you have, you have a like a radiologist, deals with people who have the condition of cancer. So apparently there's some type of condition for black skin.
You know what though? It's the opposite. And that's what I put. We're going to keep going because the Bible says the leper skin is a condition. So we're just showing you the contradictions between the modern Judaism and the Torah and how ancient Judaism was Torah, period. All right. So listen, it gets worse, y'all. Y'all thought that was bad. We got the rabbi confirming some crazy stuff, but we have to take a quick commercial break, y'all. We have to. I need a bathroom break real quick. Sign up to all my YouTube pages, y'all. Priest Genesis Mode on the road to 40K subscribers. All praises, y'all. Genesis. Big G's, not the little ones. Also sign up to PTE Godcast. PTE Godcast. Make sure y'all go subscribe. Subscribe to PTE Godcast where we push the envelope. Say it again. We got our street. You're going to see a lot of my street ministry on Genesis Seattle. That's where we are located. Me specifically, but we're everywhere. We're everywhere. Make sure y'all tap in to Genesis Israelites Seattle. We got Deacon Tunes where a lot of my early releases on my music will be on. Sign up to Deacon Tunes, y'all. All praises. In the new channel, another new channel, we got Bigot Pigs. Bigot Pigs is a channel where we're going in on, basically the cops and how they give the white man the white privilege and absolutely unalive the black and brown man for doing the same thing that the white man did. My Patreon. Make sure y'all sign up to that Patreon, y'all. We got exclusive content and early releases on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Deacon Genesis, y'all. Support the ministry. Kwam Yasharala. Make sure you register and enroll to the Genesis Varsity Online Academy specializing in Hebrew apologetics. We will be on YouTube doing some responses and commentaries pre-recorded videos, but the hands-on academics and scholarships, extensive and exhaustive breakdowns will be in the Genesis Varsity Online Academy. Email me, deacon@genesis144.com. PTE album out now on all platforms. Push the envelope. Message to the Nation video is out on Deacon Tunes and Priest Genesis. I got a ghost rider, Holy Spirit right for me. I didn't have to battle cause the Father fight for me. Maybe I'm the Lord's anointed cause my choice appointed. Probably thought I failed by now, so they disappointed. Or maybe I don't make it cause the mark of the beast, I won't take it. Authentic and I won't fake it. I love my haters, but if you put your hand out, I won't shake it. Nigga, I'm probably gonna break it. I swear the Israelites are getting worse than the churches, homie. The ones doing the work will be the first to put curses on me. Don't want my baby will, they want a hex or a crazy spell. Got guardian angels, I think it's Michael or Gabriel. I make it crack, I'm the dope. And we push the envelope. I'll have my bruise wipe you off. Never act like I'm hard, but I'm not Microsoft. No CEO, but I move like a boss. We the salt of the earth, y'all got no type of sauce. She seen big G's in my bio. Her eyes got bucked like Ohio. Embarrassing, don't wait till you're perishing. Nuclear missiles cook like kerosene. Life is a gamble, so please cast your lot. I need space to repent, but I'm no astronaut. Bible, my pistol, Hassad past the Glock. I'll spin your pastor's block, you'll feel the aftershock. Have you ever went on a mission in the tech jam? Have your little system went missing in a sex scam? Tell me, have you ever took a brick up off the scale? Have you ever had $1 million bill? Have you ever had to hide your Prozac or dope sack from your mom cause you know she smoked crack? Have you ever been questioned by the feds? Have you ever came home wife sexing in your bed? Have you been on a journey to the dark side? Have you ever went on a mission and the car died? PTE, Big G, and I'm the priest. I'm about to feast. PTE, Big G, and I'm the priest. I'm about to feast. If you not 12 tribes, then I'm burning your village. Gentiles not concerning your feelings. Fake friends unconfirming your realness. Flow sick like a terminal illness. Edomites gotta die. They still believing that they can be saved. Demons trying to box you, how it's shy. But I'm taking this fade. Wanna go to war, get with Genesis. Hit the email before the song finishes. Smashing on all of my nemesis. Grown men in the truth, soft like a feminist. Yeah, this ain't a rap, it's a eulogy. Killed every hater that was acting like they cool with me. I ain't never shook and I'm a rider. They say they want beef, then I'm cooking like I'm Kaya. Never been a pseudo, I ain't Billy Carson. You just like to show it off, I'll be really parking. Trying to steal my shine, get your own lighting. And I got these niggas scared like the drone sightings. Sis try to play me turn savage on her. I don't know who she thought I was, but I ain't Travis Hunter. Support the camp and the frontliners doing the Lord's work. All praise to the Most High.
You see?
Okay. Are we back on? Okay.
So again, we're talking about modern. Can I say the ism? This is the wrong ism.
The wrong ism. Okay, so we covered that. Let me go to. Okay, we got the understanding on that. Oh, yeah. Oh my goodness. This one right here. So there's a difference between Bekharat and then Barakat. So modern day Judaism goes back to the days of the Talmud, and you'll see it contradicting Torah even back then, of course, until now. And so you'll have Barakat and then you have Bekharat. This is 31b11. So this says if a woman is barren, she's not able to have kids, she's not blessed. She's cursed. But it says that, you know, if she endures until the end, God's going to grant her children. It says if she had previously given birth with pain, she now gives birth with ease. Or if she had previously given birth to daughters, she now gives birth to sons.
Oh my God. Buckle up your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen. All right, boys and girls, listen to the next part.
Or if she had previously given birth to black children considered to be unattractive, she now gives birth to fair children. Or if she had previously given birth to short, weak children, she gives birth to tall, strong children. Yeah, it's triggering, man. It's triggering. What you got to say about that, Assad?
This is why, they don't want you to read their literature. This is why, because the moment you start to read what they actually believe about you, now it's very interesting. I got to be very careful what I say, but
Yeah.
um,
That's crazy. Now, this is Guide for the Perplexed by Maimonides, right? Also known as the Rambam, the rabbi who was a rock star of their religion, of their faith. On book 3, chapter 51, page 384. Okay, let's keep going. Page 384. What do we see? What do we see? Here we go. Can you see this, Assad?
Yep, it's okay. It says the people who are abroad are all those that have no religion, neither one based on speculation nor one received by tradition. Such are the extreme Turks that wander about in the north, the Cushites who live in the south, and those in our country who are like these. I consider these, the Turks in the north and the Cushites in the south, black people, I consider these as irrational beings and not as human beings. They are below mankind, but above monkeys, since they have the form and shape of man and a mental faculty above that of the monkey. Keep going.
No, that's it.
Yeah. So we're subhuman, is what they're saying. That's literally what it means to be. What do they say? They are below mankind. Sub means under. A submarine, you're under the water. They're saying we are subhuman. We're subhuman, but we're above monkeys.
Hold on. What does it say in the chat? Let's see. Let's take a look at the chat. Camster email. Anybody believing in any type of idol or black Jesus or anything like that is pursed out and killed, and the remainder of the Israelites are allowed into the land and is resurrected. Pretty much it.
What?
What?
What are you talking about, man?
He's all over the place, bro. You you all over the place, my man. So in Bereshit Rabbah 36:7, it says that, when Noah's son looked upon his nakedness, the curse was black skin. If you look at the bottom, it says, you have prevented me from doing something that is done in the dark. Therefore, your seed will be ugly and dark skinned. You guys think we're making this up? This actually says that. Go ahead.
Where that's what he said to Ham. Let me see. Or is that what he said to Canaan? Let me see.
Because they're saying that Canaan was present.
Okay.
Which the Torah doesn't even say that.
Where does it say? Where does it say your seed will be okay, here we go. You have prevented me from doing something that is done in the dark. Therefore, your seed, talking to Ham. Okay, your seed will be ugly and dark skinned. Wow. That's what it says on the bottom. Could you highlight that, priest? It says, or are you able to? Do you guys see where?
No.
No, you're not able to. Okay, on the bottom, the very last, like the third line to last, it says, this is what Rabbi Huna also said in Rabbi Yosef's name. Not what God said, but what this fool said about black people, basically. It says, you have prevented me from doing something that is done in the dark. Therefore, your seed will be ugly and dark-skinned. So they're saying the Hamites are ugly and black. Black equals ugly. This is who we are a very good-looking people, everybody. I think we can say that. And you guys know what I'm about to say. So just, all right, we'll move on.
Camster email says he's doing talk to text. Camster email, you're welcome to come on here and just kind of explain to us what you mean by what you're saying here. We want to hear you out. He said the most almighty is a savior alone. Okay, so we want to hear you out, brother. We want to give you a chance to help save our souls, you know? Okay, so let's keep going. So the Torah says black is beautiful, while you know their literature says it's ugly, it's a curse, it's a blemish, it's a condition. Songs of Solomon 1 and 5. I am black but comely, black and beautiful. Even Jewish scholars will say that this is a metaphor for all of Israel. It says the Negro can't be a priest in modern Judaism, but the Levitical priests were called Negro. It says that white, but this is why I say it's saying the exact opposite of what the Bible's saying. The Bible's saying that pale skin is a curse, not black skin. Numbers 12 and 10, leprosy is a curse. It means it's when your skin turns as white as snow. Then we take a look at Phineas. Phineas, the grandson of Aaron, Moses' brother, Levitical priesthood. He has an Egyptian name, Pen Nahasi, or the Negro. Some scholars translate it as the dark-skinned one or the bronze-skinned one. But a lot of scholars just simply say the Negro. So there are two theories with the meaning because they try to act like, oh, it's the mouth of the serpent. But 60% of scholars agree that his name means Negro, and the mouth of the serpent is just Hebrew folk etymology. What does that mean? It's a theory of interpretation while you ignore the original language that the name is in, right? There's some sources. There's some sources that y'all can screenshot just to prove what his name actually means.
These people are trying to tell us that that God thinks that, you know, the Regina Hall, Santa I could go on and on. Some of them sisters are married, so I'm not going to speak on it too much. But that black women and Hispanic women are that we are the ugly. Do they have something to show? You know, do they have a Halle Berry? Where's the Halle Berry? Where's Halle Berry at? Get out of here, bro. Wow, you guys see what's on the screen? I won't say that. We'll just call it MJSD. All right, modern gay deviancy.
Yeah, this is where we're gonna have to be very careful, because in there, modern Judaism has a lot of sexual deviancy, and the Torah prohibits all of it. Literally. So we're just going to have to roughly paraphrase a lot of this stuff that we're about to read here.
So this is okay. Nida 5 and 4. A girl who is, this is what they're saying. This is what they say. This is what they believe. This is what they teach.
And you follow that?
God damn. Yep. So, boy. A girl who is 3 years and 1 day old. A girl who is 3 years and 1 day old, a baby, whose father arranged her betrothal, is betrothed through intercourse, as the halakhic status of intercourse with her is that of intercourse with in all halakhic senses.
Now.
Wow.
We just got to read that without expounding. But they might think we're lying. Let's hear the rabbi break it down.
All right, we are on Nida, Perek Hey Mishnah Daled. Fourth Mishnah, the fifth chapter, Masechet Nida. Now we're talking about the earliest possible age for a certain halachic status. And the Mishnah doesn't make any value judgments. Like we said a bat yom echad, a girl who's 1 day old, can be a nida, to me, abba nida. But here we're talking about a sexual act. And for me, I find it, I'll just say as an introduction, it's somewhat troubling. The Mishnah makes no value judgments. So the Mishnah, as I'll explain in a second, says the Mishnah, bat shalosh shani b'yom echad, a girl who's 3 years and 1 day old, mitkadeshet b'bi'ah. she is able to meet kadesha, to be married bibiyah, through intercourse, meaning that it's possible to have a sexual act. Basically, what the Mishnah is saying, as we'll see in the rest of the end of the Mishnah,
Wow.
is that a person who has intercourse with a girl, and that's obviously talking about someone who's an adult, so it has to be 13, otherwise there'd be no dot. But there can be intercourse with a girl who's above 3 years old, and that intercourse makes her a be'ula, not a betula. But nonetheless, the idea of someone having intercourse for these purposes of kiddushin is extremely troubling, to say the least. So the Mishnah, I'm gonna.
Whoa!
Yeah, no one.
What in the name of God?
No wonder they're not going to be able to pick up on this one, though, Deacon. No wonder there was a guy. No wonder there was an evil mustache man that was going, "You didn't take it."
Nah, for real.
Golly.
Oh, goodness. Yo. He said, okay, so he said 13 and up is an adult. And if you're 13 and up, then you can take that 3 in 1 day old. Damn. But at least he said he's trying to save face for his religion. At least he said that, it's extremely troubling. But your people said that.
Wow.
Your people said
now
that.
it somehow, I don't know if you call it worse, but there's more. In that same nida, in the case of a boy, 9 years old and 1 day old, a 9-year-old boy whose brother has died childless, who engaged in intercourse.
I think even though we're reading this might not be
smart for the YouTube.
Yeah, just don't say the I word.
The what word?
The I word.
Enter.
Yeah.
Okay, I got some. In the case of a boy 9 years old and 1 day, whose brother had died childless, who engaged with his yevama, his brother's widow, the status of the
engagement, the deed
is that of halachic deeds.
Yeah, halachic means it's okay, it's lawful.
Yeah, it's like halal basically. It says if he acquires her as his wife, but he cannot give her a bill of divorce, if he chooses to end the marriage until he reaches majority and he becomes ritually impure after engaging in the act with a menstruating woman to the degree that he renders impure all the layers of bedding beneath him. So this is a woman doing the deed. There's a 9-year-old boy doing the deed with a grown woman.
Right, and they're saying that that's okay. That's halakhic. Okay. Yeah, you guys think we're lying? We know we got
Nidah 5 and 7. The sage. Oh,
go ahead, my bad.
The sages stated a parable. Oh God, they have a story about it now. Parable based on the development of the fruit of a fig tree, with regard to the 3 stages of development in a woman.
Oh my God!
Minority, young womanhood, and grown womanhood. An unripe fig, a ripening fig, and a ripe fig. An unripe fig represents the stage when she is still a child and has not yet developed the signs of puberty. Okay. A ripening fig represents the days of her young womanhood when she reaches 12 years and 1 day and has developed 2. Can I say that? Is that a big deal?
Where does it say that?
That's fine. 2 pubic hairs with regard to the periods, both during this stage, minority, and during that stage, young womanhood. The sages said that her father is entitled to any lost object that she finds that cannot be returned to its owner. Okay. And to her earnings and to nullification of her vows. Okay. A ripe fig represents the stage of grown womanhood. Once she has reached her majority, her father no longer has authority over her. He can no longer nullify her vows, and he does not have a claim to her lost objects found by her, and her earnings belong to her.
Hold on real quick, bro. Dude, this overkill gaming. Would you like to make a wager on this, bro? Like, would you like? We could bet anything We can bet you. I don't know. You look like a gamer. We can bet channels. We can bet YouTube channels.
Let's bet your Xbox.
Yeah, we can bet your Xbox. We can bet your PS5. We can bet 500 push-ups. He's saying that white people didn't convert to Judaism until the 7th century. Yo, sir, we can bet your earpods. You, my friend, don't know what the hell you are talking about. You ever heard of the Edomites? The Edomites, they converted during the Maccabean period. You ever heard of the Herodian dynasty? They converted shortly after. You ever heard of the Colonimus family? Those are first century Roman converts, rich family, who then created the Ashkenazim up in Europe. What in the hell are you talking about? Now, also, too, let's say it wasn't the Ashkenazim. These are clearly converts writing this because we weren't there. Let's say, oh, okay, Overkill Gaming. Let's just put a link in the chat. Let's put a link in the chat. It's been a while since I've talked about the Edomites with somebody. So I'm going to put a link in the chat so you can come on here. We can talk about the Edomites. Either way, though, whether you say the Edomites are white or not, we just proved there was 4 influx of converts that were not Israelites. You're still done, my man. So if you want to talk about who actually composed the Talmud, let's do it. If you want to talk about who the Edomites are today, let's do it. So Overkill Gaming is about to get overkill. They get everything from us. Okay.
Where did they get this from? Where did they get that it's okay to do these deeds with these children? They got that from us?
Yeah, if you say that, you hate your race. Okay, so you got 6,000 subscribers on your channel. I will trade you YouTube channels if you can prove what you're saying. You can have mine. Let me take a look at your views.
They got it from us. He said they got it from us.
He's nasty. You got almost 1 million views on your YouTube channel. I got 14 million. We'll just trade. You can have my channel if you can prove what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly, J-Dubs. Why would we write in all our texts being black is ugly?
Yeah, nah, bro.
What are you talking about, man? Y'all niggas just get on the internet and say anything.
He's trolling. He's got to be trolling. I don't endorse what it says, but it did come from us.
So we wrote, yeah, if you're black. So wait a minute. So black priests wrote, yeah, if you're black, you can't be a priest. Hey, other black priest, write that down.
Right, we're the only black priests up here, dog. You gotta stop, dude. Yes, you are trolling. You're going in timeout, bro. You're not even making no sense. We love you, but you gotta go in timeout. I've seen you on a few other classes, and you said some good comments. But today you're playing. That gaming got him bugged. That gaming is frying his cerebral cortex. Okay, so let's keep going. Where was we at? Okay, go ahead, bro.
Go to 8 now. Talking about the different stages of a fruit and correlating it to a woman's development. Nadav 5 and 8. What are the signs that indicate grown womanhood? Rabbi Yosei Hageli says, grown womanhood begins from when her breast grows sufficiently so that a fold appears below the breast. Rabbi Akiva says it begins from when the breasts sag on the chest. Ben Azai says it begins from when the areola at the tip of the breast darkens. Rabbi Yosei says it begins when the breasts have developed to a size where a person places his hand on the nipple and it depresses and slows to return.
Oh my God, that is so. I mean, I would tell you to exegete it, but you know, whatever, man. Let's just.
Yevamot 59b7. When Rabbi Dimi came from Eretz, Yisrael, he said there was an incident involving a certain girl in the village of Hitlu who was sweeping at the house. In a village, Kufri, a dog used for hunting, the dog did something bad.
Yeah, the dog did something. The dog was a bad boy in this woman.
Yeah. And
the dog went, here we go. The dog went into the woman. And what did they say?
It says, and Rabbi Yehuda Hanasti permitted her to the priesthood. Hold on, permitted her to the priesthood.
Permitted her even to a high priest. So basically, he said, even after an actual dog went unto her, she's still eligible in halakhic for her to marry a high priest.
And wow. And Rabbi Yehuda Hanasti permitted her even to a high priest, as she was still considered a virgin. The Gemara is puzzled by this comment. Was there a high priest in the days of Rabbi Yehuda Hanasti? Rather, Shmuel meant that she is fit for a high priest. So remember, you guys, Leviticus 21 says a high priest can't even just deal with any woman, that he is only allowed to deal with an Israelite woman who's never known a man.
Right.
But apparently, you can know a dog.
Wow. And then here's the thing. The Torah says she's supposed to get unalived.
Wow. You want to, that's true. One. But two, think about this though, Deacon. In Leviticus 21, it says that priest, it's a violation if he doesn't go and get with one of his own. Let me, matter of fact, just read this. Look at this. This is so disgusting. These people are crazy. Oh, oops.
You know what? Good thing we got so many other platforms.
Damn, I didn't.
Lord in Christ.
We love Israel. We love Israel.
We love Israel. Yeah, we love Israel.
Love Israel. Oops. Leviticus 21, and let's see. Where is it at when it says neither shall you get a high priest? That's what Leviticus. Okay, here we go. In Leviticus 21, it says in verse 13, and he, the high priest, shall take a wife in her virginity, a widow or a divorced woman, or profane, or a harlot. These shall he not take, but he shall take a virgin of his own people to wife. Neither shall he profane his seed among his people, for I, the Lord, do sanctify him. So the high priest is given specific rules that they are not allowed to deal with a non-virgin that's not an Israelite. But you can deal with an animal, apparently, or you can deal with a woman who's dealt with an animal. But you couldn't deal with a black woman, though.
Wow.
According to them.
Hold on. What just happened?
No,
I'm gonna share my screen again. My bad. Okay. My bad, y'all. Okay, we're back. Okay. So he said, wait, rewrote that? Listen, bro. Anybody saying that we wrote this, I'm telling you, like, when martial law happens, I'm really coming for you, bro. I'm gonna get you. We got the couple boogeymans on here, and we're gonna get you.
All right.
Okay, so where we at? Okay, let's
next one.
Okay.
Torah on deviancy of the S sort of deviancy.
Right, because in the Torah, just to give you some context, it gives you, because in the Talmud, they're saying when you hit 3 years old in one day, but in the Torah, it said you got to be about 20 years old. You could roughly paraphrase it or break it down. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy 3:18, and I commanded you at that time, saying, the Lord your God hath given you this land to possess it. You shall pass over arms before your brethren, the children of Israel, all that are meet for the war, but your wives, your little ones, your cattle, for I know that you have much cattle, shall abide in your cities which I have given you. So when this is letting us know what a child is. This is the ages, what makes a child, what makes a man, what makes a boy. Numbers 1:20. Who goes to war? It says every male from 20 years old and upward. So a male that is 20 years old and upward is distinguished from little ones. That's a grown man. That's an adult. 1 Corinthians 7:36. But if any man think that he behaveth himself uncomely toward his virgin, if she pass the flower of her age, and need so require, Let him do what he will. He sinneth not. Let them marry.
You know what I'm thinking? Maybe GMS are reading the Talmud.
Oh boy. Strong's G5230. Flower beyond the bloom or prime of life. Overripe, plump and ripe. Not when a woman starts her cycle when she's 11 or 12 years old. This is when she's beyond in her prime. When is a woman in her prime? Not when she's 12. Probably when she's like, early mid 20s.
Right.
Yeah.
23, 26.
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
No laying down with the animals, according to Torah. Exodus 22:19. Whoever lies with a beast shall be put to the death. Modern Judaism on, I can read that, head covering. The kippah. A kippah, yarmulke, skull cap, or koppel, is a brimless cap usually made of cloth traditionally worn by Jewish males to fulfill the customary requirement that the head be covered. It's a customary requirement that the head be covered. It is worn by all men in Orthodox Jewish communities during prayers and by most Orthodox Jewish men at all other times. There is considerable debate among the halakhic authorities as to whether or not wearing a kippah constitutes an outright obligation.
Right. Like whether it's a law or not. But go ahead. My bad. It's lucky.
Yeah. The Hida, Rabbi Haim Yosef David Azulai, Israel 1724 to 1806, classified wearing a kippah as a medat hasudit, measure of piety, rather than a strict requirement. So it's not a law, but it shows your piety. Others, however, including the Taz, commentary to the Shulchan Aruch by Rabbi David ben Shemuel Halevi, Poland, held that nowadays wearing a kippah is required according to the strict halakha.
Right. So we have some saying it's law, some saying it's not. But the Torah don't say nothing about no kippah. Right? What did the Torah say? It's
Exodus 28:4.
Look at my main man. He looked like Hassan a little bit.
No,
you can't tell me he don't look like a Harley.
Exodus 28:4. And these are the garments which they shall make: a breastplate, and an ephod, and a robe, and a broidered coat, a mitri, and a girdle. And they shall make holy garments for Aaron thy brother and his sons, that they may minister unto me in the priest's office. The high priests, Aaron's son, have to wear a mitri on their head. They have to wear something on their head, and it's not a damn kippah. Talmud translates as instruction, learning, from the Semitic root LMD, meaning teach, study. They must be on LSD. Mishnah, the Mishnah, meaning repetition, is the earliest authoritative body of Jewish oral law. Gemara, in a narrow sense, the word Gemara refers to the mastery and transmission of existing tradition. The Midrash, the Hebrew word Midrash, is derived from the root of the verb darash, which means resort to, seek with care, inquire, require. Big G's, not the little one.
So in short, ancient, he said, where's the link? Okay, let's put the link in there for Overgame Kill. In short, ancient Judaism dates back before the converts created their version of Judaism, which is what you see now in this modern Judaism. Ancient Judaism, what we created, just meant to subjugate ourselves and bind ourselves and people who joined with us to God's law, statutes, and commandments, which is where you get Judaized from. You understand? So hopefully the brother clicks the link, because he said we are the ones who wrote the Talmud, and we are going to talk about that through the Spirit. And at this time, anybody can click the link for questions, comments, and smoke. Because of this sensitivity of the topic, make sure you use your words wise.
And don't come on here and do what Elon Musk did at, my heart goes out to you. Don't do that. Don't you dare do that. OKG.
Don't do that.
You got to turn off the YouTube in the background, my brother. If you are a brother.
Shalom, brothers. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Are you the gaming cat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on, I can barely hear you guys. Hold on. Hold on 1 second.
And as you're getting that figured out, please be mindful to use very careful language on here.
Yeah, I can hear you guys good now.
Okay, so you said that you believe the Midrash, the Talmud, and that literature was written by our people. If that's in fact the case, why would our own people say that black skin is not only a sign of basically an ailment, but that a priest can't have black skin? Okay, G. Why would our people
All
say?
right, sorry about that. It's some audio issues. I'm getting some feedback here, but let me first say this, right?
Yeah, say it.
Turn your YouTube browser off, bro. How are you a gamer?
Hold on, man. Anyway, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, look. So first, let me say I'm not against you guys. I'm actually a supporter of you guys. I watch a lot of thumbs up a lot of these videos.
We're not against rap.
Yeah, so I'm not here attacking, but I do disagree. I do disagree with certain things that you guys are saying on this subject. Like when I came into the truth of of who we are, I knew a black rabbi, right?
Okay.
And he taught me a lot, right? He taught me Hebrew. He taught me how to practice. He taught me. I didn't go the traditional one West route like everybody else. I went through the actual traditional route, connecting us back to our heritage that we lost.
Brother,
I don't know if you guys
appreciate that, and I know you want to give your testimony on how you came into the truth. No, beautiful. I'm asking you a direct question based on what you said in the chat. You said that our people wrote those things. I'm asking you, if that's the case, why would black people call black skin a blemish and say that if you have this blemish of black skin, that you are disqualified from being a priest?
Okay, so first of all, can you pull it up in Hebrew?
I just read it from the Hebrew. We didn't read it from the Hebrew. We just had a rabbinic Talmudic scholar read it from the Hebrew. Do you want to hear him say it again?
Yeah, I think the word, if I remember correctly, the word that he used in there was shachora, right?
No.
Shachora, the word shachora means, it can mean black and it can also mean dark, right? For example, this is what I was asking you. Hold on. This is what I was asking you guys earlier. All I was asking is for you guys to be fair, because you guys are presenting this as everything in the Talmud or everything in these rabbinical works is like anti-black.
Let's be.
But it's black people, that wrote this stuff.
Okay,
and they even say, for example, that Ham was Shakora. He was black.
Okay.
They also say that Shem was Shakora. He was black as well.
Okay, G, slow down. Okay, the word Shakor, it can mean black or dark. Do so-called black people have dark skin?
Do you have dark skin?
That's not what I asked you. Do black
you
people
don't have dark skin, do you?
That's not the point. That's not
what are we talking about here? Priest Hakah doesn't have, his skin is brown.
No
We're
problem.
talking. This is talking about those.
This is
okay,
like,
G.
really
Okay, G. For one, brother. You got to take some of that bass out of your voice. For one, you got to let us have a conversation where we're going back and forth.
Okay, sorry.
In Bekarat 7 and 6, unless you know more than him, I want you to.
No, I don't know. I'm not an expert on the Talmud. For example.
Okay, let's listen. Let's listen to it. Look, the Hebrew's pulled up, and he's translating. He's translating word for word. Let's take a listen.
Okay, let's go.
Mushed in some way, crushed. They're inflated because he says ruach, there's some wind in there, they're inflated in some way. His appearance is dark. Shushachor is black. I guess they felt at that time in their day that a person with a very dark complexion was not beautiful.
That's what word. That's what word, Deacon. That's what word is highlighted. What is that? Can you read that? What that says right there? The highlighted word, sir.
Yeah, it's hashukim. Hashukim.
Okay, what does that mean?
I don't know what that means.
Well, he
But
just
it's
said
not.
it meant-
That's not
he just said it meant
Shakora.
black, but he just said it's black.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, that's not
Okay,
the.
so let me
That's
pull it up.
not. Hold on. That is not the usual word for like black. The usual word, like for example, if you go to
It doesn't matter.
Song of
That's not what- brother, that's
hold
not
on,
what I asked
just
you.
hold on. Let me explain.
No.
If you
Okay,
go
so-
if
no,
you
no,
go
no.
to
Now, I'm
if
gonna
you
mute
go
you. Now you're gonna
to
mute you, 'cause I don't want to do that. That's not what we're gonna do at all. Please do not make me mute you again. You're not directly dealing with the point.
and you listen and you
Does it
read
not
what it says
matter?
there. She says,
Okay.
Hakushi, what does ha shukin mean? Let him answer that. What does ha?
I don't know. I just told you I don't know what Hashukin means.
Okay, so it means dark, and then he tells you it means black. So
Okay.
now let me get you. How do you say Negro in their dialect of Hebrew? Do you know?
You mean like the N word?
Yeah,
Kushi.
Kushi. Oh, you're done, buddy. Watch this.
Wait, why am I done?
I'm gonna show you why you're done right here. Watch this.
No. Don't cut me off, brother.
No. You listen.
Don't give me the good night.
No,
Don't give
I'm
me
not. I
the
promise you.
don't
I
give me the
promise you.
good night, good night.
I promise you, I'm not. Listen up. Watch this. Watch this.
Okay.
What you mean? Rabbi says what it means is if you're ambidextrous, that means your right hand is weaker. But we pass it like Chachamim, and nowadays we know Chachamim are correct that you have a strong. That means just have two strong hands. Hakushi, someone who is a kushi, someone who is a Negro.
So
Yeah. So
you-
this was and in the biblical times this was not a bad word. Zephaniah, for example, his father's name's Cushi.
What we're asking
no,
you.
it's okay. Let him explain it because it's still not.
Yeah,
there.
calm down, son.
Go ahead. No,
That's
just
the prophet Zephaniah, his father, who was an Israelite, was named Cushi.
okay. We never said he's using it in a bad way. We said they're saying that a hakushi, and that it is not the way he's using the word. He's saying that a kushi is disqualified from being a priest because that's a blemish. That's what Bet Karat 7:6 is saying.
Yeah. So let me give you an example. Let me try to explain this, right?
No.
Just come on, man. Be fair, bro. Listen, I'm not against you guys. I'm a supporter. I comment in you guys' chats a lot. Come on, I'm not against you guys. I'm not like.
Okay, what point are you? What point?
This is the thing, right? You know how today you see Israelites. They look at somebody from Africa who's extremely dark, and they say, "Oh, this person is a ham sandwich." Isn't that the word that you would use, Haka? You call that person a ham sandwich? You dislike their ultra darkness?
I never said that.
What that this is exactly how Israelites were in the past. They're just like you guys now.
What does Hakushi mean? What does Hakushi mean, dude?
Kushi means Ethiopian.
No.
You just double talked. You just said it meant the N word earlier. Now it means
No. That's today. Today is used. Today the word Kushi is used as a slur.
Okay. So what they're saying is these black people who live in the Levant area where the sun is going to potentially turn their skin very dark. What disqualifies you from being a priest is if you're hella dark. So
because it's just like this, right?
One second, hold on.
It's just like this.
I got one question for you.
Hold on.
Ain't no hold on. This is our platform. Ain't no hold on. Brother OKG.
Let me talk, bro.
Is Wesley Snipes disqualified from the priesthood?
No, that's not what it means. That's not what's meant by that.
He's hella dark though. He's cushy.
Yeah, that's okay. Have you ever seen a real Hamite?
What?
Have you ever seen a
real? It doesn't say a Hamite. It says Hakushi.
Have you ever seen a real Hamite?
Yes, I've seen a Hamite.
All right, you've seen how their skin is way different from ours.
Okay, so what you're asserting is that the Talmud is saying darker Hamites are disqualified from being a priest
because the same books. Go ahead.
Let me just land my plane and I'll give it to you.
Go ahead.
Let's establish some order. Everybody relax. So you're saying that the Talmud is saying darker non-Negro Hamites are disqualified from being priests. It's not talking about our people.
It's not talking about our people. It's the same way that you could have somebody who's mixed, right? Let's say they have an Israelite father, they marry a white woman, the children marry a white person, and they become basically white, right? At that point, they're like disqualified as well. And I can show you.
Okay, real quick before you do, OKG, are Hamites qualified to be in the priesthood? Yes or no?
No.
So what's the point of saying a dark-skinned one isn't allowed to be a priest if none of them are allowed to be a priest at all?
Because you could have a person who mixes with a Hamite, and then they continue mixing with Hamite, then that person becomes more Hamite than Shemite at some point.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
Okay. What you're saying doesn't make any sense. So let's just get to the meat and potatoes of it. You said that we wrote it, but when was the Talmud composed?
3rd and 6th century, between 3rd and 6th century.
Where?
You have the Babylonian Talmud and you have the Palestinian Talmud. The most popular one is the Babylonian Talmud.
Okay, so where were we at during this time?
Scattered.
So how are we in Jerusalem composing the Talmud?
I didn't say we were in Jerusalem.
It's called the Jerusalem Talmud and the Babylonian Talmud.
Yeah, that's because the people who wrote it were from either Jerusalem or Babylon.
Okay, but we weren't in there. We got expelled for good. So
it doesn't matter that you were in there. It doesn't matter if you were in there. That's where they came from. That's where
it came from, or that's where they came.
It came from the people who came from those two areas. So you had the one group of elders who came from Babylon. They wrote the Babylonian Talmud, right? You had another group of elders who were from Palestine. They wrote the Palestinian Talmud.
And where did they write it at?
I don't know their geographical location when they wrote it.
So we have the evidence and sources in the data that says these individuals were in these geographical locales, which is why it's called the Jerusalem Babylonian Talmud. We were exiled already in 70 AD, and then the very few of us that remained in Jerusalem were permanently exiled on the record, a permanent expulsion. And
do you know where some of those people were exiled to, though?
Let me land my plane. In 135 AD, after the Bar Kokhba revolt, we were gone permanently. So how in the hell would we write and compose the Talmud?
Okay, so do you know where some of those people were exiled to?
Luke chapter 21 and Deuteronomy 28 and Leviticus 26 says we will be led captive into all nations. Right. Captive into all nations.
Right. So you have people who were in Arabia. You have people who are in Yemen. You have people who are in Iraq, right? North Africa, right? Some of us were taken as slaves into Spain, Portugal, right? So if you do your DNA test, some of you guys may have Spanish and Portuguese in your genetics. The first slaves to arrive here in the Caribbean were Sephardic Jews who were expelled from Spain and Portugal.
To arrive where?
In the Caribbean.
In the Caribbean. Were they ethnic Israelites or were they non-ethnic?
Yes, they were black. Sephardic Jews. That's what I'm saying. Sephardic Jews were black.
What source do you have? Because I have a source in my hand right now saying that the first Jews that got here were the converts who had the first.
You're talking about people who came here willingly. I said the first slaves.
What is black though? What is black?
So wait. My bad. So you're saying that the first slaves that came here were taken from? Oh, okay. So you're saying that before they came and took us from West Africa to here.
Yeah, they were. Okay, so the majority of the Sephardic Jews who were in Spain and Portugal who were expelled in 1492, these were black people, right?
Okay, so what does
they were expelled from Spain and Portugal to South Tome and West Africa, and then over there they were enslaved and then brought to the Americas, and
What
they
does
made up
that
some of the
have to
first
do?
slaves.
But what does that have to do with what we're talking about?
That the I was just using that as an example of where we were scattered to, right? Some of us fled and came into West Africa. Some of us were in Spain and Portugal. Some of us were in the Middle East.
Do you remember what Deacon asked you, man?
Wait, you're going this way. I asked you something over here, but it's all good. So you said that the Edomites aren't white. What color are the Edomites?
Your color.
Edomites are brown.
The same, yeah. Look
Okay.
at you, look at you, and look at your shirt.
Okay, so the Bible says that the Edomites would be ruling the world. Where do people like me that look like me as a nation of people ruling the world?
So if you're talking about the original Edomites versus who are the Edomites who are the Edomites today, Edom has mixed himself among many nations.
Show me
right?
that in the Bible.
Well, I can't do that right now. It's something I have to get back with you on.
Can you paraphrase it? I can
Okay,
find
okay.
it for you.
We can see that Edom mixed with the Ishmaelites.
Esau
right?
himself. No, Esau himself.
Yeah,
did.
Esau himself mixed with Ishmael.
So the
right?
first Edomite looked like me.
Yes, the first Edomite looked like you.
Okay, now what do they look like predominantly today?
They look like you. They look like white people. They look like everybody. They even look Japanese.
And according to Lamentations 4, the Bible says the final captivity of the Israelites will be under the Edomites. Do you believe that this is the final captivity of the Israelites that we're in currently in America, or no?
Yeah. But are we in captivity only in America?
I didn't ask you that. So let's start.
No, I'm asking you a question. I said I responded. Hold on, Hassad. I responded to your question with an affirmative yes.
Thank you.
And then I asked you a question.
Okay. It has nothing to do with my question. So we're going to continue with my line of questioning. So now that you agree that this is the final captivity, Lamentations 4 says that the Edomites would be the people that would have us in slavery in our final captivity. Who enslaved black people here in the United States of America?
We weren't enslaved in the United States of America. We were enslaved in Africa. And we were sold to Europeans.
Okay, that's the same thing. We got enslaved over there. They brought us over here. And were we enslaved here too?
So who enslaved us in Africa?
This is the worst.
That's not the question. He's asking you about today.
So do you know that there's a group in Africa called the Edo?
We don't want to know anything. We want to know why the Bible says.
So you guys don't want to really have a dialogue.
No. Let's just go with your line of logic.
Okay, go ahead.
Our last captivity will be under the Edomites. Who has enslaved and subjugated?
Hold on, can you do me a favor?
Yes.
Can you pull that verse up?
Lamentations chapter 4, verse 21 and 22.
Hold on. Lamentation. Let me see.
Lamentations chapter 4, verse 21 and 22.
Okay. All right. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. Where's Uz?
In the land of Edom.
Okay. The cup also shall pass through thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shalt make thyself naked. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. So, does it say that the final captivity will be under Edom?
It literally what does it mean when it says the punishment of your iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion? He will no more carry thee away into captivity. What does it mean? He will no more carry away the Israelites into captivity.
Okay, so I guess at some point he did carry them away, and at some point
I asked you that. I asked you, what does it mean?
You asked me a question, and I'm answering it.
Do you remember what the question is? I'll just real quick. Do you remember what I asked you, brother?
Brother, you said, what does it mean that he will no more carry thee away into captivity? That's what you asked me, right?
Yes. What does that mean? So answer that, please.
Okay. At some point he carried us away, right? Can we agree?
Yeah.
It's telling you he won't do that again.
Okay. He won't do it. So there's going to be a time where he will not put us in slavery ever again, right?
Right.
Okay. And then it follows with saying, "O daughter of Edom, he will visit your iniquity and discover thy sins." What would the relevancy be in mentioning God punishing the Edomites and at the same time that he would no longer carry the Israelites into slavery anymore? Why would he mention those two things together?
Because they're both true.
What do you mean they're both true? There has to be if I wrote 1 + 1 is 2.
So
And
you assume, okay, look,
Goliath, that's true,
listen,
but what's the relevance?
listen, let me say this. I'm not saying that you're not correct on this. I'm not saying that Edom, that we're not under Edom now. I'm not saying that, right?
Well, then who are we
But
under?
I'm saying that what the original question was: is Edom white? Yes, Edom is white. Edom is also black.
Predominantly.
Edom is also brown.
Okay, well, show us the Edomites who have us enslaved everywhere.
Okay, so where did Edom dwell? He dwelled in Arabia, right? He's mixed in with the Arab population. The Arab population enslaved us, right? They sent us.
Show me
Have you,
where the Arabs.
have you guys ever left the country before?
I want you. Yes, I have. Show me where the Arabs enslaved Israelites.
What are you talking? You never heard of the trans-Saharan slave trade?
Prove those were Israelites. Prove those were Israelites.
Exactly.
Dude, okay. I personally went to Iran.
Prove they're Israelites. That's what you have to do right now.
Okay, I personally went to Iran.
Okay.
When I was in Iran, I saw our people there. They look just like us.
Nigga, that doesn't prove.
I asked, who are these people that look just like us? Oh, they came here as slaves.
Hold on, watch this. Hold on, wait a minute. OKG. You just said that there are Edomites who look white, who look Japanese, who look everything. How do you know just because they look like us that they are us when an Edomite can look like us too?
No. I'm saying these people were scattered just like us.
Being scattered does not make you an Israelite. Just because you're scattered don't make you an Israelite?
They're the same people as us.
I'm done, man. Go play.
Go be done, dude. Let me talk to Hakka.
Yeah. Now we got one last question for you, and it ain't Suge Knight. It ain't Suge Knight. I promise you.
All right.
One last question, right?
Yeah.
So, when did Black Edomites start to mix with Caucasians in order to make Caucasian Edomites?
When they were overcome by the Khatim, they're from Japheth, right?
What year is that?
I don't know the year, man.
You got the time period? Say it again. Maybe I'll look it up for you.
You said when they were overcome by them, though.
Yeah, the Khatim. They mixed with the Khatim, and there was a war, and then they got absorbed by the Khatim. Right? Who you guys say is like these eventually became the Romans?
Japheth.
Yeah, they mixed with Japheth.
Okay, and can you find that in the Bible or history anywhere?
It's in, I believe it's in Jubilees, but I have to get back to you on it, man.
You said Jubilees?
I believe.
Do you believe in the book of Jasher too?
I'm not too familiar with Jasher.
Okay. Why do second century sources say that the Caucasians, that the Germans are Edomites?
Some of them are,
but it didn't say some of them.
They're not all Edomites. Okay, for example, I'll give you an example. Okay, most of us who are African Americans, right? So-called African Americans, our haplogroup is E1B1A. Right? We all descend from a common ancestor.
Not all, no.
Yes,
we all don't. I don't have.
Okay, let me finish saying what I'm saying.
Yeah, but you just said it's not true. E1B1A is one of the largest haplogroups of African Americans, but we all don't go back to that.
No. The largest haplogroup among African Americans is E1B1A.
True.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, right? But Hitler was E1B1B.
Okay.
He's our cousin. How did that happen?
I mean, bro, listen. My point is this: you said that there was no white converts. In order for white converts to write the the Talmud. But
Yeah.
so you're telling me that the Romans weren't white?
No. So what I said was there were no. Okay, according to the book by Shlomo Sand, which is the invention of the Jewish people, where he talks about how the Ashkenazi Jews are all converts from, Poland and all of these places. He says that there's no documented history of Caucasian Jews before the 7th century.
Now watch this. He's about to die. You agree with me that the Romans are white, right?
Sure.
Sure. Okay. Have you ever heard of Onkelos?
Yes.
Was he Roman?
Yes.
And he was a convert, right?
Yes, he was a convert.
What century did he exist? And then when he translated the Great Torah scroll?
I don't know the century.
First century.
Okay. I mean, I'm not saying that not a single one exists.
No,
Existed.
Listen,
I'm not saying that. Hold on. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. That you couldn't find a white Jew at all before then, but in terms of there being Ashkenazi Jews, right? Talk like a large group of these Jews,
like a group of whites. Now, here's the thing: those same Jewish scholars say that the Colonimus family, that the Jews migrated to Rome, and then from Rome they went up to the Rhinelands. That's all before 7th century, though.
Are you sure?
Yeah, this is what they're saying.
What's your source for that? Wait, what's your source?
No, I didn't say I agree. I said this is what they're saying. Dr. Henry Abramson said that. He said the Jews got expelled in 70 AD, then they went to Rome, and then eventually they got let free from their captivity. Then they went up to the Rhineland, and then so they gave us the genetic bottleneck of the Ashkenazim.
Hold on.
But look at this source right here from the Megillah 6b. It says Germania of Edom. Why is some of the highest...
It says that Onkelos lived in 35. Yes, 35. Yeah, so he did live. Onkelos did live between 35 and 120 CE.
Yeah, so the 1st century. And then it wasn't just him, it was his family. So you do have a large influx, and especially if we can prove that Edomites are Caucasian. You have the Herodian dynasty. You have the Edomites who were subjugated and converted during the Maccabean era. So we do see Caucasian converts way before 7th century AD.
Yeah, the only part I would disagree with, though, is that the Edomites are all Caucasian. I'm not saying that none of them are Caucasian.
Well, do you so you don't even believe that I don't believe every Edomite is Caucasian either, because but I believe that predominantly of the predominant Edomite people group today are Caucasian. Can they mix with other people and look like other people? Yes, just like every other nation. There's no homogenous nation unless you're talking about North Korea. You look at North Korea and the Chinese military, I don't see one nigger or a white man in their militaries. So
did you know this? And I want you to look this up when you get time. The Edomites peopled Japan.
The Edomites what?
The Edomites peopled Japan. The Japanese people are Edomites.
Oh God, man.
Yeah, I want to know. Look, you can scoff all you want.
I'm just saying, what country are you in right now?
I'm in America.
You're where?
I'm in the United States.
What part?
California.
Okay, so you're familiar with West Coast rap.
Oh, here we go. Come on, bro.
Rhymes with Suge Knight.
Come on, bro. I told you. Look, this.
Oh man. Okay. But yeah, at this moment, I want you guys to see this source though. This is from this is the Megillah. It's saying that the Edomites are in Germany. And then let me see when was this? Hey, it's all good, brother. We love you, man. But you got to play Hassad in Call of Duty. Before you can come back on here. Oh, my bad. He's a Fortnite. Hassad's a Fortnite individual.
No, we're not playing nothing together, brother. And you better
my brother Keyshawn.
You better not ever let me see you in the streets, bro. Ever. I'm playing.
My brother Keyshawn, the Water King, all praises.
Y'all niggas want verse? No, I ain't gonna. You know what I was about to say, Diggin?
Huh. Oh, digital.
Yeah.
He said he got 18 diamond guns in CLD.
Yeah. You need to hit the books. That's your problem. You playing too many video games.
Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, I got a video coming soon, Shamar. I had to work 80 hours this week, 75, but I ain't gonna make no excuse.
All right. Thakwa.
Brother, you live?
Yeah, you know the last brother that was the son.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still understand his reasoning because even if it was our people that wrote the Talmud, which I don't believe, there's so many additives, you know. So the scripture says you can't add or take away. So even if it was us, you still got to reject it anyway.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. It just would be so shameful. I mean, are our people wicked? Yes, but that level of wickedness, we don't see nothing like that even in the Bible. That we did, and we did some wicked stuff in the Bible. I don't see us prescribing or even descriptively doing anything of what's going on in the Talmud.
Right. So I don't understand what the point of view was. I don't understand why you're trying to defend something that's adding to the text. I don't understand why people try to defend that. But I only came on here just to make that point and to ask you, what do you think about what France is doing to RUIC? Because that's a big thing in the earth.
You know, if that stands, is it confirmed or was this?
No, that's facts. Facts. They've said that RUIC cannot congregate, whether it's in public or in private.
So that means they're banned. They're just straight up bans from.
Yeah, they banned. How they can't? How can they ban them for preaching the gospel? And the problem what I have here is that because we're so fractured, right? That we you know, other Israelite camps and groups are so fractured against one another. They're going to do that, but remember, when their nations come together, they're not going to be fractured.
Well, the Bible does say that they are divided. The 10 toes are divided, so they may not all agree on the same thing. Either way, though, if that if that's the case, I don't have a problem with IUIC. Like, we disagree on doctrine, but if I seen them brothers getting into some harm or something like that, of course we're gonna spring into action. So if you're saying that when all hell break loose, are we gonna unite with our brothers? Absolutely, we are.
Right. Because I mean that kind of shocked me, because at the end of the day, I believe the reason why they've done that is because IUIC has gone over to Africa. Mm-hmm. Right, and a lot of those African countries which IUIC goes to, they are French owned.
Exactly.
Right, because and some of these French countries they've woken up to a certain degree. Right. So that's the reason why I reckon they've done that. Not just that it's just France. I believe that there's other parties working behind that. You know, on the upper echelons, the higher.
The small hats.
Yeah.
Small hats.
Yeah. So I just thought I'd ask you.
We want that to come here, because once that comes here, so if they're saying only black and brown groups can't congregate with the Bible, that's going to translate to some other stuff. And there's some white Bible Belt Christians that are going to pick up arms and go in. Well, the Bible already says, though, that the general population of Babylon is going to overthrow the government. That's Bible.
Right.
So that means that we're not just going to, we're going to get persecuted, of course, but these other nations are not going to submit to, you know, the government control when that day comes as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so let it come, brother. The closer it happens.
Let it come, let it come, let it come. I just wanted to hear your opinion, because I do listen to you, and I do value the things that you say. So, you know, I like to hear our brothers talk in it, because as the scripture says, iron sharpeneth iron, you know, and I'm listening, I'm learning, and yeah, we don't always agree on every doctrine, every topic, but the two things which I always say, right, which is what the Bible talks about, is the laws, keeping the laws, right, keeping the laws of God, and believing in Messiah, right, and so long as brethren believe in keeping the laws, pushing the laws, and they believe in Messiah, you're my brother, and I don't care whatever different doctrine that we have differences with, because when you get to Revelation, it says, here are those that keep the laws of God and have the faith in Messiah. That's Revelation. That's not at the beginning of the book. That's at the end. So to me, those are the two pillars. Those are the two pillars we have to stand on, you know what I mean? So that's the reason why I asked you the question. And I'm just going to say Shabbat Shalom, and I'm going to say all praises to Yahweh, B'Hashim HaMashiach Yahweh Shai, and keep the work pushing, keep the work pushing.
Hey,
Shalom,
Shalom, brother. Oh, praises. What's going on?
Praise in it.
What's going on, college student? What's going on, college student? You want smoke or what?
You want smoke, mate? You can get smoked. You get banged up, man.
Oh, he froze. That must be like a spiritual thing. You see how he came on and he froze? It might mean like his spirit is frozen. Like his walk with the Most High is frozen. Let's see if this works. Oh, it's bad, bro. Your walk with the Lord is frozen, bro. All right, y'all. We are at our 2 hour mark. We I think we covered a lot. I hope y'all were edified. I know the small hats are mad that we brought all that out, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. So I think you should go live on your channel about this whole IUIC, you know, the Bible being banned and all that. Get some good content. Hey, what's going on, brother? You looking mighty hard.
Man, Shalom. No, my computer had froze, man. My computer had froze. But I am that dude. What's the dude name that came on here? The guy that learned from, what's his name? Something Gaming or something like that.
We're gonna forget.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, but you know, this is, like I said this in the chat. This is what happens when you learn from somebody else who learned from the same people that stole your identity. That's all I'm gonna get out. I'm not gonna say anything else because I don't want this shit.
Yeah, but Damon Stoudemire, remember, Stoudemire said that same thing. Damon Stoudemire, Omari, what's his name?
Omari
Stoudemire said, because we was all over him, right? We was getting on him, and he was like, he's only going back over there and living over there because they probably have a better understanding than what we left them.
Right.
But the Bible don't talk about. Peter was illiterate. They had the Holy Spirit. The highest degree that you can get is the Holy Spirit. You don't need the PhD. This is why you see us destroying these PhDs, because the highest degree is the Holy Spirit of God that gives you understanding of the Bible.
That teaches you all things and brings all things to your remembrance. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I wanted to actually bring this up too, right? Since we were talking about him, I guess I'm trying to disqualify that all Edomites are Europeans, or all Europeans are Edomites, right? So of course we know that archaeology, right, in the realm of academia, I don't even know if I said that right, but it sounds smart. But that archaeology, you know, are regarded as eyewitnesses, right? So I'm pretty sure y'all done went through this already, but y'all know about the Edomite deity known as Quaz, right?
Yeah, it looks like a white woman.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like Marilyn Manson, right? You know what I'm saying? And of course, we know in history, which corroborates with what the Bible actually says. You know, as far as the where it says Agag, the no, not Agag, Haman the Agagite, right? Yeah, it goes back to Amalek, and he's also known in additions to Esther as a Macedonian. We know the Macedonians, Greeks, they're white people. So come on, man, let's not play games like this, bro. That got me hot. That got me fired up, man. Yeah, but that's all I wanted to actually add, bro. Shalom.
Shalom, brother.
Hey, Shalom, King. Shalom, brother. All right. I said it's somebody. This dude said One West gave birth. I'm sorry, Commandment Keepers gave birth to One West. Not necessarily. Abba Bivens left the Commandment Keepers because of how weak their doctrine was.
He saw niggas like you and said, "See you later."
Let's just be real. Then 1969, the real prophets of the Lord started raising up in the world.
Zariah, go ahead and clip that. I know you want to. The 1969, the real prophets, the men of the Lord, and the ISUPK. Yeah. All praise to the Most High.
Oh man.
All praise the Most High. But yeah, make sure y'all like and share this video. We went into a lot. Not only did we go into a plethora of great information, we took a risk and a gamble because we love y'all so much. We want to push edifying information. This is information they don't want you to know about. They might try to clip this. You know what I mean? So y'all got to make sure y'all like and share this and get this into the algorithm.
We want no cowards in our camp. I love them brothers, man. All praises. All right, y'all. Let's end this by giving all praises, honor, and glory to our Heavenly Father, Yahweh. We do so by Shema Mashiach Yahushai. Big G's, not the little ones. Here to feed the little ones. We out, y'all.